Good morning to all and welcome to the session, the Hindu Editorial Analysis for Proficiency in English. Before we go to the editorial analysis, I would like to talk about the new batches that were launched yesterday. Please have a look at all these batches started on 17th November. Top Educators, Top Batches, Agni Batch, and this batch. Then we have Foundation Batch, Set Brahmastra Batch, Complete Batch on General Studies, Team Phoenix Batch, and this is an important feature. Ask a doubt by Unacademy. You can use only if you take the subscription. If you take 1 year subscription, you get additional 4 months, and 2 year subscription, additional 8 months. Test series for SSC aspirants, so many of them are free. Please go through, very useful. And raise hand, this also goes with those who have taken the subscription. Every Sunday, Unacademy conducts a scholarship test. All that you have to do, answer 40 questions in 50 minutes. You can take in Hindi or in English, and you can win a scholarship from a pool of 1 crore. Based on your rank, you get the scholarship. And these are the offers, subscription offers. Use my referral code Murthy10. You get 10% discount. All set, let's crack it. Now we'll go to the actual session. So this is about, before we go to the editorial analysis, let us start the session with a nice quote. A life spent making mistakes is not only more honorable, but more useful than a life spent doing nothing. This was given by G.B. Shaw or George Bernard Shaw, a Nobel laureate known for his intelligence, considered a genius. So it is better to do something, make mistakes, learn from mistakes, than doing nothing. A life spent making mistakes is not only more honorable, but more useful because you can always learn from your mistakes than a life spent doing nothing. Doing nothing cannot be justified on any ground. And here we have special price alert, bank exams, SSC exams, regulatory bodies. Good morning to all of you. 15% lower subscription prices. Hurry up, get your subscription now. 15% plus 10% if you use my referral code. Total, you get 25%. 25% substantial. So imagine whatever the amount on that, you get 25%, one fourth. That is definitely worth considering. And limited period offer. Do remember. And special price reduced by 15% plus 10% if you use my referral code, that is Murthy 10. Murthy Murthy 10. I'll write here Murthy 10. Murthy 10. So 15 plus 10, 25%. Please go through 1 month, how much, 2 months, how much, all those. Now, this editorial is all about air pollution in Delhi, the capital city, and it talks about the blame game. On the one hand, it says there's a blame game and they have to stop that blame game. On the other hand, it says the solution, concerted efforts and consistent efforts are required to solve the problem of air pollution in Delhi. And easy to understand goes with the environment, air pollution, and the reasons behind. And the editorial also says this is a recurrent problem, means what happens every year, and they have to focus on long standing solutions. Besides the editorial analysis, vocabulary, and important expressions that go with effect to English, which are very important from the exam point of view, you are going to work on exam topics, one word substitutes, and idioms. Before we go to the editorial, let us have a look at the words. In fact, this editorial, there are 20 plus words, about 23 words, and some of these words are very important. And do remember, in the exam, you come across more or less the same words. So, Hindu editorial vocabulary, very useful from bank exams point of view, SSC exams point of view, and UPSC exams point of view. So, what is the first word here? And when you try to learn, excuse me, when you try to learn words, you should always think of the word forms. You have to think of word combinations. Concerted, first meaning, determined and serious, or done together with others. In this context, yes, of course, it is easy to understand, comprehend. You're right, Abhishek. Done together with others. So usually it takes the word efforts, concerted efforts, doing together with someone. Unfold, you all know the meaning of the word fold. Fold something, it goes with clothes. Opposite, unfold. In this context, open or spread out from a folded position. It talks about air pollution getting unfolded. Advent, an important word. Again, remember from the exam point of view, some words are very important, some words are not that important, but you have to learn everything. Advent, an important word. It takes a preposition of, means what? Arrival of. Advent of a notable person or a thing. Arrival of someone or something. A retreat usually goes with the context of war, soldiers, army. If soldiers of a particular country they go back, then we use the word retreat, an act of moving back or withdrawing from the battlefield. Retreat. Bid has two different meanings, an important word. Generally, it goes with auction. At the time of auction, people bid. Someone says 100, someone else says 200. That is bidding. But it has another meaning. What is the other meaning of bid? Make an effort or attempt to achieve something. Bid to achieve success. His bid to do something. Attempt or effort. Straw has many meanings. You all know. While having a soft drink, you use a straw. But here it has a different meaning. Dried stalks of grain used especially as fodder to feed the cattle or as material for thatching, packing, or weaving. Chaff, the seed coverings and other debris, S is silent, separated from the seed in threshing grain or thrashing grain. Again, here you can use a word for this. We also use the word husk. What is husk? The seeds, the seed coverings, when you remove the seed coverings, whatever you get, that is known as husk. You can also use the word chaff. Noxious, it goes with fumes, air quality, harmful, poisonous, or very unpleasant. Noxious air quality, noxious fumes. Stubble, the main reason for pollution in Delhi every year, especially before the advent of winter, stubble burning. Stubble means what? The farmers, they grow a particular crop, they harvest. After harvesting, at the time of harvesting, they cut. After that, what happens? The stalks of the grain or the plants they remain in the field. Part of the plant remains in the field, and that is known as stubble. They have to sow the seeds for the next crop. So they try to burn that so that the land becomes clear. They can sow the seeds for the next crop. So stubble burning happens before winter. It's a regular feature. Spiking. Spike has two different meanings. One as a noun, something that is pointed, a metal piece. But here as a verb, sharp increase. For that we also use the word surge. Overnight, it has two meanings. You can stay overnight, means one night. But overnight in this context, another meaning, suddenly and unexpectedly. Usually I tell students, you cannot achieve success overnight. No one is a born leader, no one is a born genius. We all have to spend time, put in efforts, work hard. Then definitely success becomes inevitable, unavoidable. Compelling, two different meanings. One meaning captivating, interesting, but another meaning capable of causing someone to believe or agree. Compelling evidence, a typical combination, means you have to believe, it makes you believe. Cessation, another important word, goes with written English. The fact or process of ending or being brought to an end. You bring something to an end, then we use the word cessation. Provoke, familiar word. Instigate, incite, better words. Deliberately make someone annoyed or angry. Outcry, another important word. Strong expression of public disapproval or anger. Public disapproval, we use outcry. There was an outcry. This is an important word. It comes under confusing words. We all know the word hurry, hurried, to do something in a hurry. In fact, there is a saying in English. What is it? Haste makes waste. Haste means to do things in a hurry. But what is the word here? Harried. Harried means either you're angry or you're disturbed because worried, because people keep waiting or expect they want something from you, and they keep wanting things from you, and you're not in a position to do that. Then obviously you're harried. Focus on the word worried and angry. Why? Because people want something from you, things from you. Forgive, forgive, forgiven. Stop feeling angry or resentful towards someone for an offense, flaw, or mistake. You excuse someone, then we use the word he has been forgiven. A recurrent, familiar word, it goes with problems. A recurrent problem means it happens regularly, repeatedly. Ascend, descend. Ascend means to go up, descend, come down, move or fall downwards. Usually, the words ascend and descend they go with mountaineering, and you can use in other contexts, no problem. Dispensation, dispense something, get rid of something. Able to be replaced or done without. You can do without something, then we use dispense it off, means get rid of that. A root cause, the crux of the problem, the basic reason of a particular problem, the root cause. Particulate matter, whenever we talk about air pollution, we use the expression particulate matter. Means what? Suspended small particles suspended in the air, relating to or in the form of minute separate particles, usually suspended in the air. Impediment, we have got many a time. Impede, block, impediment, noun form. Hindrance or block. When you try to do something, something blocks or hindrances, then you say it is an impediment to achieve success. Amenable, another important word, open and responsive to suggestion, easily persuaded or controlled. See, so many words, and I always tell students when it comes to reading the newspaper, a lot of students don't like to read the newspaper. One of the reasons they don't understand what is this fishing for success. No, no, that is not right. Fishing has a different connotation, it has a negative connotation. Negative connotation. So you cannot use with a positive word like success. Striving for success, that is right. Strive, that's a positive word. So when you read, you may not understand the meanings of many words. First, you know the words, easy to understand. Half the problem is solved. Then, whatever I do here, it is from the exam point of view. Today, also, we are going to focus on language proficiency. It starts with end the blame game. It is like a suggestion. And usually it's a noun, the end, but it can be a verb. End, ended, ended. It's a regular verb. The editorial says the center and the Delhi government, now when it comes to this editorial, end the blame game, telling them to end the blame game. Please end the blame game. There's one phrase over here, the blame game. You all know the word game. What is this, a blame game? Blaming each other, blaming one another, blaming someone else. Uh, Let me focus on the analysis. It is Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary. The Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary. So, end the blame game. But what is the main idea of this editorial? Concerted efforts, that is a subject, are needed. Here the sentence is in present tense, passive voice. Needed for what? For a long term solution to Delhi's pollution crisis. In a nutshell, this editorial talks about what is needed, what is required for a long term solution to Delhi's air pollution crisis. The editorial feels concerted efforts are required on the one hand, and also on the other hand, it says the center and the Delhi government should end the blame game. Easy to understand. Now let us focus on the language part. Good morning, good morning. Here, Oh, you are here. That's good. Concerted efforts. I want you guys to guess. When I read a sentence, I will ask you what is a subject, what is a verb, what is object, what is a phrase, what is a clause. If you respond, you will be able to. Sometimes you get it right, sometimes you don't get it right. Get it right, be happy, be confident. You don't get it right, remember next time don't make the same mistake. And that way, what happens, you can interact, the session becomes very lively. Concerted efforts is a subject. Now, answer my question. Concerted efforts are needed. Is this in active voice or passive voice? Which tense is it in? I want you guys to respond. That way, it becomes interesting and lively. You can consolidate your knowledge, you can learn in the real sense. No one has responded. Which tense is it in? Concerted efforts are needed. It is in present tense. Present tense. And it is in passive voice. We need concerted efforts. Active voice. Concerted efforts are needed by us. Passive voice. Very good. Concerted efforts are needed. Verb. Passive voice. For what? For a long term solution. This is a phrase. And to Delhi's pollution crisis. To Delhi's pollution crisis, that's also a phrase. Always writers, they use phrases and clauses to provide more information. A familiar sequence of events. Now, what is the subject here? Please answer my question. This is very useful and important. A familiar sequence of events. What is the subject? Here, a lot of students may think events is a subject. That is not the subject. Sequence is the subject. A familiar sequence is the subject. Of events is a phrase. This is very important from the exam point of view. A lot of students think events subject, plural form, there's an error here. No, there's no error. Here, a familiar sequence is third person singular. Of events is a phrase, don't consider. Unfolds, sentence is in present tense, subject is third person singular. We should add s or es to the verb. So unfolds, that is a verb. A familiar sequence of events unfolds. Where does it unfold? Ask the question, then you get the adverbial phrase of place. In the national capital region. Then you ask the question, when does it unfold? Then you get the answer, before the advent of winter. That is adverbial phrase of time. Usually they use adverbs of adverbial phrases of time, place, manner. A familiar sequence of events unfolds where in the national capital region. Please focus on the question words I've been using. Where in the national capital region, when, before the advent of winter. Unfold means to open up. Fold, opposite, unfold. And advent, an important word. Arrival. Here, advent of what? Arrival of winter. Now, focus on the words, focus on grammar part. This sentence is very important because it is based on what we call parallel expression. What is parallel expression? In a sentence, if you use grammatical units, they all should be either same part of speech, or if you use verbs, all the verbs should be in the same form. And here the editorial talks about the problem is air pollution in Delhi. It talks about three or four reasons. What are the reasons for air pollution every year in the month before the advent of winter? It provides talks about the reasons. The monsoon retreats, dries the air, and the wind drops. Here we have three verbs. All the three verbs are in present form. The monsoon retreats, dries the air, and the wind drops. So you have to tell yourself this sentence is in parallel expression, constructed based on parallel expression. Now, reasons: the pollution from construction, industry, road transport, hitherto being masked through the year. This is hitherto being masked through the year means so far, so far covered covered throughout the year, through the year. But what is the subject here? The pollution. Pollution is a subject. Put all the words in the exam also to locate the error. First, you have to know what the subject is, what the verb is, and what the object is. After the subject, put the phrases and clauses in brackets. After the object, put the phrases and clauses in brackets. Here, the pollution from construction, industry, and road transport, all this a phrase. Hitherto being masked through the ear, a phrase. Don't consider. Now, the pollution becomes, what is the verb here? Becomes. Pollution singular. Pollution becomes more visible. Simple idea. The pollution becomes more visible. Why does it become more visible? Because of construction, industry, road transport, all these, they have the pollution masked through the ear. Now it becomes visible. However, that's a contrasting word. What are the contrasting words? Despite, in spite of, however, though, although, nonetheless, nevertheless, all these. However, the period also coincides with a unique practice in northern India where farmers in Punjab, Haryana, and eastern Uttar Pradesh, in a bid to hurriedly clear their fields of rice straw to make space for wheat, set fire to the shaft. A lengthy sentence, but easy to understand. What does it talk about? The period also coincides with something. Here you have to focus on the preposition coincide with, important preposition combination. A unique practice. This is very important. Here, a lot of students think, how come it should be an? No. The word begins with a vowel letter, but it has a consonantal sound. U, ya is a consonantal sound. Already have learned words that begin with a vowel letter, but if they have a consonantal sound, we have to use a, not an. What are the typical examples important from the exam point of view? A unique person, a university, a uniform, a universal rule, a one eyed person. So it is important from the exam point of view. And coming to practice, very important, they've given in so many exams. TICE is a noun form, TISC is a verb form that you have to recollect. In northern India, where farmers in Punjab, Haryana, and eastern Uttar Pradesh, in a bid to, here bid means in an attempt to, in an effort to, hurriedly, it is an adverb, clear their fields of rice straw. Straw means dried stalks of grain, usually used especially as fodder or material for thatching, packing, or weaving. As I said, once they go in for the harvesting, after harvesting, what they get, the straw, they use that as fodder. That means a food to cattle. To make space for wheat, set fire, here set fire to what? To the shaft. The seed coverings and the other debris, the letter S is silent, debris, separated from the seed in threshing grain. You can also use the word husk. This long standing practice, this is a phrase used as a subject. This long standing practice is now facing. Which tense is this? Present continuous tense. Is facing. I am teaching. You're listening. Something is facing. This long standing practice is now facing what? Ask the question. Criticism, that is the object. Why? Ask the question. Because of its emerging link to Delhi's noxious air quality. So it says this long standing practice is now facing criticism. Then the writer wants to provide the reason. Why? Because of its emerging link to Delhi's noxious air quality. There is one important word, noxious, means what? Harmful, poisonous, unpleasant. But generally, we try to convey the meaning harmful or poisonous. It also goes with the fumes, noxious fumes. The root cause, air pollution before winter, advent of winter in Delhi, the main reason, stubble burning. In and around Delhi, a lot of farmers, they go in for stubble burning, and that generates a lot of smoke. That is the main reason for air pollution in Delhi. The stubble smoke, stubble means what? After harvesting the crop, they cut the crop, then you see the parts of the plant, the stem, the stalk in the field. That is known as stubble. And to clear the field, what they do, they burn that. When they burn, obviously, a lot of smoke is generated. The stubble smoke carries over, a phrasal verb, into Delhi. How is it carried over into Delhi? Through the long range wind transport. This talks about mode. How is it carried over into Delhi? Through the long range wind transport. Wind carries this smoke because of stubble burning. Finally, the third element here, whenever you see something important from the exam point of view, you have to recollect. Before ordinal numbers, what are ordinal numbers? First, second, third. We should use a definite article the. So that you have to recollect. The third element, so it has been talking about the different reasons, different elements for air pollution in Delhi. The third element during the season is Deepavali and the bursting of crackers. Look at this. The third reason for air pollution in Delhi before the advent of winter, Deepavali. The third element during the season is Deepavali and the bursting of crackers. Standard expression. The season is also one more. The season is also marked by more social gatherings, such as weddings or related celebrations, that again see a demand for crackers. Deepavali, obviously, there is a demand for crackers. Besides, the season is also known for social gatherings such as weddings or related celebrations that again see huh, a demand for crackers. Here, focus on the prepositional combination demand for crackers. While there is an official ban on crackers, ban on takes a preposition, there is an official ban on crackers, except so called green crackers, so called expression a little derogatory, not approving something, except so called green crackers that are not widely available, not easy to get green crackers. The additional smoke from all of these add to the bad air from the stubble burning, one thing, and also because of the retreat of the monsoon, then Deepavali season, demand for firecrackers. All these additional smoke from all of these add to the bad air, spiking air quality meters into the very poor and severe categories. There's one word over here, spike. Spike as a noun, different meaning. Spike as a verb, different meaning. Here it has been used as a verb. Spike means what? Sharp increase. This provokes a public outcry. This, again, you have to look at it. It can be a demonstrative pronoun, demonstrative adjective. This batch, then it is a demonstrative adjective. After this, you don't see a noun, then it is a demonstrative pronoun. This provokes, but here it is being used as a subject. This provokes what? A public outcry. This subject provokes verb, a public outcry object, a phrase, and concerns from the Supreme Court of India and a harried response from the government that pushes for restrictions on free movement and construction. What does it talk about? It talks about because of this air pollution in Delhi before the advent of winter, this provokes a public outcry and concerns from the Supreme Court. This is an important word, exam point of view. It goes with common errors. What is this common error? A lot of people say when they go to someone's office, they say, I would like to meet the concerned person. That is wrong. We have to say, I would like to meet the person concerned. Concerned person means he has concern for you. You are a stranger. Why will he have concern for you? But person concerned means person related to that work, a person related to that department. So concerns from the Supreme Court of India and a harried, important word. Hurried, we all know. Harried means worried and angry, especially because people keep wanting things from you. Here, people want something from the government, response from the government. So, what is the role of the government? The government, what does it do? Pushes for restrictions on free movement, phrase, and construction. And what is the impact of the restrictions on free movement and construction? Invariably, an important expression means without any exception, the weather improves and all is forgiven. Every year this happens. There is a, before the advent of winter, air pollution, public outcry, concerns from the Supreme Court, response from the center, and the weather improves, all is forgiven. Do you understand the sentence? all is forgiven, people are happy. But it's a recurrent problem. Now the editorial comes to the main idea. What is it? The recurrent tragedy. The editorial uses the word tragedy. Usually it goes with problem. Why does it use the word tragedy? Let us read the sentence. The recurrent means happening repeatedly. The recurrent tragedy of addressing the problem of air pollution in Delhi is that it invariably descends into a blame game. Now you understand. Why is it called a tragedy, recurrent tragedy? Instead of thinking of a solution, the editorial feels it results or descends into a blame game. They are not looking at the solution, they are trying to blame each other or one another. So it's a tragedy. I hope you understand. The recurrent tragedy of addressing the problem of air pollution in Delhi, all this comes like the subject with the main idea tragedy, and of addressing the problem of air pollution in Delhi, a phrase is that it invariably descends into a blame game. It is nothing but a blame game, the editorial feels. Why is it called a blame game? Who blames whom? The center blames the Delhi government because it belongs to a different political dispensation, means a different political party in this context, BJP and up to different parties. The center blames the Delhi government. This is the opinion of the editorial because it belongs to a different political dispensation, which in turn, here, which means the Delhi government in turn quite conveniently blames farmers in Punjab. The center blames the Delhi government blames the farmers in Punjab. That is what the editorial calls the blame game. But here they should focus on the problem. What is never addressed head on? This is an important expression. Here it's a clause in the place of a subject. What is never addressed head on is. Generally, we use the expression head on with the word collision. Head on collision. Imagine two vehicles, they run into each other. Then we use the expression head on. In turn, that means when it comes to their turn, they blame the farmers in Punjab. In turn, here, which in turn, when it comes to their turn, that means the Delhi government, when it is a turn of the Delhi government to blame someone, they blame the farmers in Punjab. Have you got it, Abhishek? Looks like you're listening very attentively. I appreciate that. So, what is never addressed head on is that the air pollution crisis is not a problem that can be solved overnight. Stay overnight, one expression, but here overnight means suddenly, unexpectedly. And you have to focus on the expression can be solved. We can solve the problem, active voice. The problem can be solved by us, passive voice. Can be solved, that is passive voice. The lockdown last year provided compelling evidence. Compelling has two different meanings. One goes with appealing, interesting, involving, but here it means something that you can believe. Compelling evidence you can believe. The lockdown last year provided compelling evidence that taking vehicles off the road, again, remember the phrase off the road, and a cessation in industrial and construction activity led to clearer skies. We all know what happened at the time of lockdown. Delhi is known for its air pollution, generally also. But at the time of lockdown, for the first time, Delhiites they saw clear skies. Reason: the vehicles were off the road and a cessation and something of industrial activity and construction activity. Now we have to believe that we had compelling evidence. Source apportionment, this is an important word. Apportionment means sharing something between the people or between organizations. Apportionment studies by various institutions have shown is present perfect tense that you have to recollect, that the contribution of stubble burning varies significantly from as low as 4% on some days in October, November to as much as 40%. So this talks about the impact of stubble burning. As I said, that is a root cause. It varies significantly, importantly, because the range is 4% to 40%. But the running of power plants and construction are also necessary activities that cannot be shut. Again, passive voice. at a moment's notice. The moment they get a notice, they cannot shut when it comes to power plants and construction activities. Overnight, they cannot shut. That is not possible. How does the editorial end? The move to ban the entry of trucks too is not any more effective than waiting for the wind to blow over. Because of the wind, you wait for that to blow over, it is of no use, not effective. The same way the editorial says, the move to ban the entry of trucks, that is also not effective and has consequences for the economy. Obviously, if you have air pollution and smog, Delhi experiences what we call smog. What is the meaning of smog? It's a combination of fog plus smoke. What is it called? Smog. So that's a problem. A lot of activities get badly affected, and that may make a negative impact on economy. Now, any editorial, whenever a particular editorial talks about a problem, it has to provide the solution. It talks about the solution. Here, the way forward is to view winter air pollution as a natural disaster and target root causes. Now, the way forward, in which direction do we have to go? We have to view winter air pollution as a natural disaster and work on target root causes. Root cause means the basic cause of something, the crux of the problem. Now it talks about road dust. Road dust is a dominant source of particulate matter and the most significant impediment to clean air. To have clean air, there is a block, there is a hindrance, there is an impediment. What is it? Particulate matter. Particulate suspended in the air, small particles. Impediment, hindrance, or block. And unfortunately, the least amenable to an easy fix. Amenable, open and responsive to any suggestion, easily persuaded or controlled. It is not an easy problem to solve. It's a tough problem to solve. So unfortunately, the least amenable to an easy fix. Here fix means find a solution. And the editorial ends on the emphasis must be on concerted and consistent efforts, not annual blame games. Two dimensions: solution, concerted and consistent efforts on the one hand. On the other hand, they should not resort to annual blame games, every year the same thing. It is of no use. It is not a solution. Now, exam point of view, very important. Look at these prepositional combinations and phrases. Solution 2, advent of. Please focus on the prepositional combinations. Coincide with, match with. A unique practice, very important. You have to recollect a one eyed person, a European city, a university, a unique person. And also, unique, you cannot use the superlative form. We cannot say the most unique, the most perfect, the most complete. They cannot be compared. Even that you have to recollect. In a bid to, in an attempt to, in an effort to, important phrase. Set fire to something, set fire to building, set fire to the stubble. Long standing practice. Again, you have to recollect practice. TICE, noun, TISE, verb. Noxious air quality, but generally we use this word combination. Noxious fumes. Important. Carries over a phrasal verb into the capital city. Bursting of crackers. You all know this expression at the time of Deepavali. And demand, the verb demand takes a preposition for, demand for something, demand for someone. Ban takes a preposition on, ban on something, ban on firecrackers. A public outcry, a standard phrase, means public disapproval of something, public anger on something. Concerns from, concern. I want to meet the concerned person, wrong. I want to meet the person concerned. All is forgiven. We forgive all. All is forgiven by us. It is in present tense passive voice. Descend into, ascend, descend. Blame game, a standard expression, blame game. Head on collision, two vehicles, they run into each other, straight into each other. Then we say the accident happened because of the head on collision between the bus and the truck. Solved overnight. Nothing can be solved overnight. We cannot achieve success overnight. Off the road, usually I use the expression off the track. On the track, off the track. On the road, off the road. Phrases. At a moment's notice means immediately not possible. Source of something. Impediment takes a preposition to. Impediment to something. Block, hindrance to something. Amenable also takes open to suggestion. Can be persuaded. Amenable to. Must be on. The onus, the responsibility must be on, or the focus must be on. It is concerted efforts and consistent efforts. Very useful phrases. Comprehension point of view, what are the questions you can think of? As usual, what is this editorial about? You should write at least one or two sentences. That helps in the long run. Comprehension point of view, and also descriptive English point of view, it helps a lot, because SSC also tier 3, you have descriptive English, you have to write one essay, one letter. What unfolds in national capital region before the advent of winter? These are the key words you have to read, locate, and you get the answer. What is now facing criticism because of its emerging link to Delhi's noxious air quality? What is a recurrent tragedy of addressing the problem of air pollution in Delhi? Easy to answer if you come across a lot of key words. In the context of the editorial, what is a way forward? What are the keywords over here? Way forward. Now let us go to practice questions based on exam topics. I have brought 5 questions based on one word substitutes. What is the word for murder of a brother? Murder of a brother, what is the answer? Abhishek, you can answer, you are there. Others also, whoever is there, I'll be happy if you answer. We can make it interactive. I'll wait for a few seconds. If you don't answer, I'll give the answer. Third option, no. Here, brother, fraternity, brotherhood. So answer is the first option. Killing of a brother or a sister, we can use fratricide, but sister, there's a separate word, sororicide. Killing of a sister. Killing of a brother, fratricide. Patricide means killing one's father. Pater means father. Regicide, regal means king. Kings and queens, then we use this one. Homicide, killing a human being. One person kills another person. It is a case of homicide. Go to the next one. Send or bring somebody back to his own country. Send or bring back to his own country. Answer is asylum means a shelter, political asylum. Also, asylum, a place where lunatics are kept. Refuge, you seek shelter, you go somewhere, then we use the word refuge, not the answer. Emigrate, going from one country, going out of that country, not the answer. Very good. Rohit has got it right, Abhishek has got it right. Repatriate, repatriation. One who accepts pleasure and pain equally. This has been given many a time. Thespian, a particular field, experience, versatile. Then we use the word thespian. And sadist, someone who enjoys when others are suffering. Answer is stoic. Noun form stoicism. It's a philosophy. Good news, they don't get excited. Bad news, they don't get disappointed. No, answer is the third option. Humanitarian means being kind towards fellow human beings. Humanitarian ground. Answer is stoic. The art of producing beautiful handwriting using a brush or a special pen. What is the answer? Calligraphy. Answer is the first option. Calligraphy means beautiful handwriting, either a brush or a special pen. Very good. Stenciling, once very popular, cutting the paper, uh, shapes or letters. Then graphics, you all know computer graphics. Hieroglyphics. This goes with pyramids and Egypt. There you come across symbols and they represent certain characters. we use hieroglyphics, an important word. To play the part of and function as some other person, you go as some other person. What is the answer? It is not imitate, it is not pretend, it is not act. Answer is the third option, Kuldeep Singh. If you have answered for the fifth one, you have got it right. Impersonate, that's an important word. Now we have five idioms. Rohit, yes, third option, impersonate. Five options, five questions based on idioms. Get on somebody's nerves. What is the meaning of this idiom? No, it is not this. To be an irritant. He is getting on my nerves means he is irritating me. It is not this one, it is not this one. Don't get on my nerves, we use in conversation English, means don't irritate me. Be on the air, something is on the air, means what? Broadcast over the radio or on TV. Answer is the first option. Float like a bird, not correct. To pass bodily gases, not correct. Be very arrogant, not correct. Broadcast over the radio or on TV. Answer is the first option. Be on the air. The program is on the air we use. Mind your language. When someone speaks rudely, we say mind your language. Means what? Tell someone to speak politely. Tell someone to speak politely. Imagine someone is speaking rudely. Then what do you say? Mind your language. Mind your language means you're telling him to speak politely. Please mention the question number. If you don't mention the question number because there's a time lag 20 seconds, I can't make out which question you have answered. Be in two minds means what? Unable to decide. You're not able to decide, then what do you say? I'm in two minds whether to take the exam or not, whether to attend the session or not. I'm in two minds means unable to decide. Wet behind ears. That's good, Abhishek. What is here? What is it? No, it is a second option. No problem. I appreciate you have responded. I'm happy about that. But the answer, unable to decide, in two minds, to do or not to do. Please go to question number 5. Wet behind the ears. Someone is wet behind the ears means what? Lacking experience or be immature. Answer is the second option. Other options are not correct. Wet behind the ears. I hope you guys got it. Second option. Fifth one also second option. What is the second option? Someone lacks experience or be immature. He is immature. Then we use, yes. That's all for today. Thanks for being with me till 4 past 9. Hope you guys have got enriched. I may give the PDF perhaps 1 or 2 days. I will be giving the PDF where you have all the words, all the expressions, all these practice questions based on exam topics. You can work later. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. I will see you guys tomorrow morning. Thank you. I think you guys are going to attend 7:30 session, some 10 o'clock session.